Now we're in our retouching and repairing section. I have a picture of an older gentleman, and there's various things that we'd like to look at with this picture. Some of the options we're going to look at are spot healing brush versus healing brush, the patch tool, the clone tool, the dodge and burn, and sharpen. And some of those we've already looked at, and by all means, these are not the only ways to repair an image. They're just some of the more common ways. So if we look over here, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down on the left hand side, we see a healing brush is what I currently have. The healing brush works as if kind of like the clone tool, where I have to sample an area and then go ahead and paint with it. Sometimes it's just easier just to go to the spot healing brush. They pretty much look the same, but the spot healing brush means that I just take my mouse about the size where I want to correct. So if I want to correct his wrinkles here, then I size the cursor down to that big for the brush, and I just drag along there. It makes a dark line, and then when I let go, it automatically tries to blend that in with the pixels and the texture around it. In fact, the spot healing brush tries to match the texture, lighting, transparency, and shading of the sample pixels to the pixels being healed. Okay, so it doesn't require you to actually sample areas like the healing brush does, but that's what it does. It matches all those areas around there. And you can go through and adjust this and see what happens trying to correct this man's wrinkles if he felt like he wanted to get rid of them. Some people like their wrinkles, but he's just my example. So sometimes that doesn't always work out that well. There's the other option is the patch tool. And what the patch tool does is you select an area and then you drag to another area and drop it, and it tries to take what you selected and put that where you drug it to. So it basically picks up the texture, the shading, things like that, and drops it in that area. So again, if I wanted to get rid of some of these wrinkles over here on the left hand side of his head, then I would want to drag an area that doesn't have as much wrinkles in there over to that. So let's try this area up here near the middle of his forehead. Drag that over and drop it on top, and what it did is it took the texture of what I have over there and tried to blend it in over here. Could work out in some cases, not necessarily in this one. One of my favorite things to try and do with these tools is to remove people's glasses. Now in this case, this guy's got some thicker rims on his glasses, so I may not be able to do that, but that'd be something I like to go through, and it's one of the class assignments. I had the students remove, well, first of all, fix the wrinkles in a picture, and then remove the glasses in a person's picture. So, going on with the rest of our tools here, we also have the dodge and burn, which we covered in another section of this. The dodge, as you drag along there, will lighten up an image, trying to adjust it with the light, as in if you were at a photo studio developing an image from the scratch, the original there. Burn will make it darker. You don't want to go too dark though. And the sponge tool again will try to bring back some of the color. And you can adjust the settings on the sponge tool. Instead of saturated color, you can desaturate, which would take away the color and give him a gray look. You can also adjust the flow. The flow is how much is coming out, just like if you're using a regular marker or something, you can adjust how much flows through there. Some of the other tools we can look at here are the sharpening, the filters. On this guy, he's pretty sharp, pretty clear, but we can go through and adjust some filters, like filter, and we could go to noise if we want to get rid of some of the little spots that are around him. Dust and scratches are good for old photos that have been scanned. We can do some other crazy artistic filters, but the blur, let's say he's just too sharp for this picture. So we can go and we could say a Gaussian blur. Depending on the type of blur, it does change things. Some are circular blurs, some are linear blurs. You can preview, check it out. I'm actually blurring him down. Depends on what you're trying to create with this. And you can also go back and you can sharpen an image by going to Filter, Sharpen, and I was always taught the best one for people is Unsharp Mask. It lets you preview it and see what difference you're making. The amount is how sharp it is, the radius is how large the area that you're sharpening, and the threshold is how far out from the radius it's sharpening. So I just hit OK, and then I've sharpened this guy. So just a few of the tools of this section of the book that we'll be covering in class.